Everyone, it's David Ruff here. Thank you very much for coming by. Today, we're going to be talking about all the crazy things that are going on in the market. It is like a tsunami of stuff that is happening every day. And there is great opportunity on the other side of this, but there is going to be some rough, stormy seas in the meantime. Let's check out a couple of the articles from today so we can keep abreast of what's going on. All right, you guys, if we just check out this first article here, you guys, this is from a guy that you need to know if you don't know about this guy. His name is Jamie Dimon. Jamie Dimon. This guy is amazing. He runs the JP Morgan. He's the CEO. Now, when I'm saying amazing, I mean that this guy is huge. He's a big guy. Whether you like him or not, it's a different thing. But JP Morgan is a massive bank. When they say something, you want to be listening. Jamie Dimon on how the government can solve inflation. His answer is it can't. Now, this guy has obviously a huge amount of interest. All of his stocks, his company, all of it has to do with the prices of stocks. So he doesn't want them to go down, or does he? Because he can short the market. So that means that he can make his bets that as the market goes down, he can make money on that. Very famously in 2020, Bill Ackman made over $1 billion. It may have been a bit more actually, just in a couple of weeks, because he was betting it for it to go down. So there's all kinds of complex stuff that happens in the banks, you guys, but let's pick apart a couple of the things that he was saying. Number one, he says that it is going to go down and there's nothing you can do about fixing the inflation. Okay. Jamie Dimon is a very smart guy. Let's just look at some of the comments that I put here. He says, and the central bank just hiked rates 0.75 of a point for the third consecutive time, but in previous rate hikes haven't done the trick yet. Haven't done the trick yet, right? We keep hearing this all the time that the rate has to go higher to combat inflation. But remember, to combat inflation, the mortgage rate or the central bank rate has to be above what inflation is. So if they're stating that the interest rate is 8 or 9%, you would need to have mortgage rates at 10, 11% over the price of inflation. But we're not seeing that. And let me tell you, there's no way they can get to that. We wouldn't be able to afford the interest on our loans. So in the short term, we most likely, and possibly forever, are going to see negative yielding rates, which is very important for us to be able to track where we're going to be as we go through this process. A lot of people will be losing. Let's continue on with Mr. Jamie Dimon. Month over month percent changes in the overall CPI inflation rate are lower than earlier in 2022. Of course, we've raised the rates to the moon, but many experts wonder if it's enough, especially as the prices of basic expenses like food and shelter continue to rise. This is where we have a problem, you guys. On your first day in economics school or in high school, you're going to learn about something called supply and demand. So if you are going to have this low percentage paid in interest and a huge percentage of inflation, you're losing. Okay, let's break it down for something. If I asked you, would you lend me $100? And you said, yeah, Dave, I'll do it. For how much? And I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. You give me $100, I'm going to give you $3 back at the end of the year. And you're like, wow, it's not a lot, but okay, at least I made $3 on my money. But then I tell you, wait a second, there's a $15 charge just to be able to do the transaction. And then you're scratching your head. You're like, hang on a second. I'm going to give you $100. I'm only going to make 3, but then I'm going to lose 15. I'm down $12. I lost money. I did you a favor and I lost money. That is exactly what's happening right now. When you borrow money or you have to pay interest, you have to pay interest to somebody. So when you could put your money in the bank and only make 2% on it, or if you buy a treasury, make 3% or something like that, but you're losing 10, 12, 15% in inflation, you lost money on the deal. Here, you're putting up all the money, you're risking your money, and you're still losing. Bad deal, bad deal. So when they say experts are wondering if it's enough to combat inflation, I don't know what expert you're talking about, because I think most 9-year-olds would be able to tell you that that's wrong. As you see here, there was somebody from Congress, Senator John Kennedy. He wrote that inflation is gutting the American people like a fish. Not just America, by the way, all the other countries who are printing, which is all of them. Okay, let's continue down. Mr. Jamie Dimon, he says some good things, all right? Now, he's trying to be super politically correct, okay? He's just remember that. He's trying to be very politically correct. He says, "I think a little less fiscal spending would be good." Saying 30% of GDP in the last 2 years, it's a little unprecedented. Well, first of all, it's not a little bit unprecedented, you guys. This has never happened before in the history of the world. So, not a little bit, not a little bit, not even close. Okay, so let's get back to Mr. Jamie here. He says, when asked by Mr. Kennedy if the government needed to get off the backs of the American people in terms of regulation, Diamond agreed. So this is the difference, right? We have something that we call capitalism in the world. This is where you can buy and sell your home whenever you want. You can buy and sell your businesses whenever you want. Capitalism is the system, right, that you can get in, work hard, and improve your life. That's the American dream, the Canadian dream, is that you can improve the quality of your life if you work hard. Here is the problem. We don't really live in free market capitalism anymore where we could just run a business. There's so many regulations and rules and stuff. In the past, you may not have needed to have a full-time lawyer on staff and a full-time regularity person that looks after the regulations. You might not have to have, like in real estate, from us, a compliance officer. You don't need a master accountant to run the trust accounts. There's so many rules that are changing all on and on and on. It's so burdensome. It's ridiculous. We have to read like 3-4 hours a day to keep up on all the changes that is happening. It's crazy how many regulations. So that's why JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon here, is saying, yeah, if you reduce the regulations, we can then spend those extra 500 hours a year back on doing productive things instead of just wasting so much time. All right, let's get back to Mr. Jamie Dimon. We need less regulation. Yes. Dimon also noted that the federal government should also be considering actions around continuing to improve the supply side of the equation. Taxation, immigration regulation, healthcare, infrastructure bill. Okay, we need to see this because this is going to be the key here, okay? He noted, because all that the governments are doing is talking about getting rid of demand. This is making sure that we fix the supply side of the issue, right? Taxation, immigration, and healthcare. Okay, so listen, guys, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think. I'm not talking about one certain government, one certain country. It doesn't really matter. I just want you to imagine this. I have 4 people here with 4 houses. Okay. Then all of a sudden, those 4 people in the 4 houses, they have a couple babies. They maybe they have a grandma living with them, and then a whole bunch of immigrants come to the country or whatever. Okay. Now there's more people than there is houses. What is the answer? If everyone has to get out of the rain tonight, the only answer is we got to take those people and put them inside the same homes, or we got to make everybody homeless. Okay. The government solution here, if you had those 4 people in those houses, their solution is we're going to drop the prices of the houses, maybe bankrupt a bunch of people. The people who are bankrupted are now on the street. Now it's cheap enough for the new people to move in and buy the same homes. We're still stuck with the same amount of people in the homes and the same amount of people on the streets. We're just moving it around. Does that make any sense to anybody? No, it does not. Nobody with common sense would say that works. And the system that we live in today, MMT, quantitative easing, money printing, MMT is modern monetary theory, where we can print as much money as we want and nothing bad will ever happen. Okay, so we printed a lot of money, and look what's been happening. The bill has come due, and there's a lot of payment. And I mean, the bill hasn't been paid yet. The pain is going to last for a while as payback for what we did over the past couple of years. So this is where Jamie Dimon is talking about the supply side. Okay, let's look at what he said again. He said we need to fix the actions around the supply side of the equation. That's what's important, you guys. If we have those 4 people in their homes and all these extra people, we need to build more homes. That's what we got to do. We need more homes. So the United States, it depends who you look at, 5 million, 6 million houses short. Canada short about 1 million houses. We need houses for people. That's what we need. So we got to be putting all our effort, time, possibly money coming from the government, possibly taxations, discounts on your tax to be able to get those people into homes. We got to build homes. Instead, the idea right now is we're going to wipe people out, and then the homes will come down to a better price. It sounds great in the news, you guys, when we're talking about, oh, we're going to lower prices for everybody. That means taking it away from some people to give it to other people. How about we just make more of it? Let's just change the fact that we talk about houses and call them bananas for a second. If there was a massive problem and we were short bananas on the entire planet, there's no bananas for everyone to eat, and the price of bananas went from $1 a pound to $2 a pound, and everybody is upset by that. The answer is not make bananas $4 a pound now, and then we'll cut it'll become balanced. No, go plant some more damn bananas, okay? Because people want more bananas. The answer isn't just raise the price to the moon. And that's what's kind of happening with all of this imbalance. It started in 2008, right, when they were printing all this money, and now it's continuing. The craziness is continuing, and it's gotten to like the crescendo, you know? So there's going to be some big changes that are going to be coming up, you guys. All right, so let's talk about the next one. Oh, my article isn't opening, guys, but the Fed is projecting 1.5 million people to be out of work next year. 1.5 million more people will not have jobs in the United States. That equates to, in Canada, around 150 to 200,000 people here will lose their jobs in Canada, but that is accounting only for 4%. 4% unemployment rate, when in reality, I would expect to see something more around 8% unemployment coming, could even go higher. So we got to make sure that your employment is going to be secure and start having possibly a second job. While we're on that topic about making sure that your employment is sure, right? We have to make sure that we have a second job. Your wife is going to have a second job. Whatever the jobs that you have are going to remain secure, because you have to make sure that you're going to make it through this really tough time. This is where I want you to build up some stuff in your home. Make sure that you have some water, some food, whatever, just in case there's ever shortages. My mom runs out of power all the time, so she has to have water, food, some backup power, right? She has to have that kind of stuff. And she doesn't even live that far out of town, like 1 kilometer. But because of that, we have to be prepared. All right, you guys. So let's look at the next one. Janet Yellen. I actually pulled up a map. Janet Yellen says Russia is offering enormous discounts on oil to China. Yeah, that's correct. But this is the crazy part, okay? What do you think China is doing instead of India? So this is the crazy part to me. If I need 10 liters of gas to get to work and back, I need 10 liters. Like, rationing it down to 8 liters isn't going to work. I got to get to work. So no matter what the price is, I have to pay it. No matter what, I need that gas to get to work and come home, right? So if the price goes up, you're just stuck paying it. Europe hasn't really cut back much on their oil. They're still selling the oil. Now, I'm going to show you the map in a second, but China is friends with Russia, right? They're right next to each other. And Europe used to have a pipe from Russia that connected right over to Europe. In fact, let's show you the map, you guys. And I'm going to show you what the Google Maps is. On the map, you can see that Russia is touching right away to China over in the east. They can send oil down to China at massive discounts. China then takes the oil and it puts it on a tanker and ships it all the way around Africa, all the way over to Europe. Now Europe gets the oil and burns the oil at massive premiums, 500, 600% premiums, massive. And they're like, screw you, Russia. We're not taking your oil that's flowing through the pipe through Belarus, to Germany, or under the Baltic Sea, which is up here. They have a pipe that runs under the Baltic Sea to Germany, or the ones that run down to Ukraine. They're like, no, we're not taking the Russian oil through a pipeline. And then they're like, haha, I showed you. And then they take the oil from China that actually came from Russia to begin with, send it over to Europe at hugely inflated prices, and they run their cars on that. Scenario 1, They're burning Russian oil. Scenario 2, they're running on Russian oil. Same thing. But they are self-imposed this massive premium to China. China's just raking in the money. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Only in a world like today could something like that happen, right? Now, what do you think is happening to the prices of their homes in Europe now that fuel prices are going to the moon? Everybody is going to be selling their homes. You're going to be in for a massive bad fall over there. Now, why do we talk about Europe all the time? Is because whatever happens there is going to have contagion here. The way all the banking systems are fixed, right? 1945, London, United States, Canada, were all intertwined. When all of the industry collapses in Europe over this winter, they can't build anything because they can't afford the gas. All of Germany's industry is shutting down, wanting to relocate to the States. Chinese industry is being shut down, moved to the United States. It's a whole world shakeup. So this winter, with food shortages and oil shortages, home prices are going to go down there. What does that do? It tanks the market. What is it going to do to my properties down in the United States? It's going to drop the prices in the America. It's going to drop the prices in Canada. A lot of dropping everywhere. So if all of your value, all of your equity is sitting in large properties in large cities with high leverage, you're probably in for a very bad winter and a very bad shock and awe as you see all your life savings evaporate. And that's what I want to avoid for you guys. I don't want you to get hurt like that. But if you go and look at what's been happening on the S&P 500, the S&P 500 is all red. The TSX, which is the Toronto Stock Exchange in Canada, says it is a sea of red. But ironically, the articles of today, look at this, the sell-off risks or boosts the odds of a recession. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, so since we ever even had textbooks, 2 quarters of declining GDP meant we're in a recession, which means we were officially in a recession in July, but all of us knew that it was a recession in April when we saw the absolute crash coming down. Yet nobody will admit that we're still in a recession. I still, to this day, I have millions of comments coming in, personal message, personal emails asking, do you think we're going to start into a recession? I'm just shaking my head because the news is telling us everything is fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. So if you're not protecting yourself, you're going to get hurt. And I'm trying to stand from the top of the mountain and scream it out that we're going to be having a lot of trouble. And it's kind of hard, man. It's kind of lonely too. You get a lot of blowback. A lot of people think that it's crazy, but listen, you have to take steps. So my dad always said you had to be better be a year early than a day late. So we used to go on fishing trips and stuff, and we would have a camper. We would bring a saw as a backup, but we had a chainsaw, always having backups, because we knew when we were out in the woods that we needed to know that we had backups and we had everything we need. Why did I bring a rain jacket? Well, it wasn't raining the day I left. It was just in case it rained. So you got to do all the just in cases. I say fill up your home, get some stuff, stock up on things, and get your financial life in order. As you know, I've been writing 2 books, you guys. I'm going to be having these books come out soon. I'm also having an entire course that's coming up. We're going to be adding a wait list that you can add the wait list to get more information when it comes out. We're going to be putting it in all our YouTube descriptions. So if you want one of our new books or you want to talk about the courses, you can go to those links and get yourselves on the wait list, you guys. Anyway, as you know, I'm always here for your health, wealth, and happiness. Remember that I work in the beautiful city of Toronto. If you ever need me, you can reach out to me at Ruff Team Realty. This is where we sell properties for people faster, for more money. We operate all around Ontario, but we are advisors and consultants all around North America to get you to your millionaire FIRE. You know what FIRE is? Financial independent, retire early. We try to get you to a full retirement within 36 months if you have the funds to start off on the plan. So if you guys ever need us, you can always reach out to us. Please send this to one person if you think any of this stuff can help. We really want you to survive, and not just survive, but thrive. There's opportunities when these bad times come. We can take advantage of them and make money off of them, and then we can have your family set up for decades to come. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope that you have a fantastic night, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for sticking around. If you like that video, you might like this one and maybe something like that.